Hello, hello, hello. What ho? Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Radio Free Anarchy, Travel Mateus Finley, The Plain Truth 2.0. I'm your host, Travel Mateus. I am just pontificating, and I was starting to do some dishes, and my ADHD brain, my attention diversified, highly developed, ADHD, attention diversified, highly developed. I have a highly developed, diversified attention span. And I started to daydream about talking about stuff and thought that I would try to bring out those kinds of thoughts right now. And I'm thinking of a video I watched the other day on boosting your self confidence. Um, and and the premise of the channel, as far as I can tell, is self help, but but I guess in a sense the help that you will have for yourself comes after you've experienced what the creator wants you to experience. So he's counseling this woman about becoming more extroverted and expressing herself. And so he asks her, he says, "Tell me what the voices in your head are saying." And I've often thought about that, how it's much different to be doing what I'm doing now than thinking about doing this, because the thoughts that I have is like, you know how you can't tell a joke properly because you can't remember the setup or whatever, or you are saying, I want to tell you about an experience that I had, and then you explain the experience, and then you're like, I guess you had to be there, because there's a translation for me, a translation barrier that just log jams the, like what happens in my head isn't easily expressed in this manner, right? If I just like try to be quiet and try to go back, like what I was doing a minute ago was trying to get some music to play, and it was taking so long to process that I was like thinking to myself, I'm gonna forget. See, distractimated. Okay, I'm back. So a needle pulling thread. I was just thinking about expressing my journey through existentialism and spirituality. What does that even mean? Existentialism, in a nutshell, is the philosophy of the meaning of existence. Determinism, fate, destiny, free will, choice. So, random thought here again. I've thought this before, and I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This is the Truman Show right now. I am living the Truman Show in an inverted dimension, or an inverted timeline, only because it's now 30 some years since the Truman Show, where the entire world was engrossed in the life of one man. However, he had an ensemble cast, that he didn't know that was an ensemble cast. But before reality TV came on the scene in the late 90s, you had the Truman Show movie, where the major premise is that there is a man whose life is just droll. He feels like there's something more, and then he starts to discover clues that his reality isn't what he thinks it is. And so you have, it's like the Truman Show begins with Truman's birth, and then you just like, it's so interesting because before Truman is an actor, right? When are you going to experience a bond with Truman as a person for the first time? When he's 4, when he's 6, like everybody's going to be different. Oh, that time when Truman, was learning to walk, I thought he would. That's when I loved him. Oh no, not for me. It was when he was 5 and he got bit by, whatever. But the Truman Show begins before Truman exists because he has parents. And so they show, I think in the movie, they show some clips of, the embryo or maybe even the sperm and the egg. And, it's like we've Truman has been we've been in Truman ever since the beginning. Well, if that's the case, then you don't experience Truman for 9 months in the womb. Like, what are you watching? Right? I want to see those episodes. I want to see those prequels to the Trumans. I want to see Truman's parents. Anyway, you have the entire world watching the life of one man, but it's not really the life of one man because there are characters. His wife, his best friend, his parents in the Truman Show, So you have a million people. This is in the beginning stages of the internet, right? YouTube doesn't exist. TikTok does not exist. And yet now we have this expression in millions of different channels where people are watching other people's lives. Van life, RV living or whatever it is, the art of craftsmanship. Like, we are watching other people make content. And so that's the reverse of the Truman Show, the inversion of it, or the amplification of it, the development of it. Like, I'm, in the Truman Show, Truman is talking to himself. Like, there are cameras everywhere. There's nothing that you don't see. Although in the movie, you don't see his wife and he having relations. You don't see full frontal nudity. There is editing that happened even in the Truman Show. Like, no, you show us everything, right? That's an interesting concept of just thinking about, full frontal exposure of all of your thoughts. Anyway, so Truman is there and he's talking, he's making, he's talking to himself in the mirror and he's making all these boop, boop, doop, boop, doop, doop, and that's his persona's expression. But he doesn't know that he's being filmed. He doesn't know that he's being watched. And so everything is open. Everything is fair game, is out in the open. Like, he doesn't know that his like, you can't hear his thoughts, but you can hear his expression of his thoughts. But even still, that's the point. He doesn't know those things are being heard. And so here I am with, seriously, a subscription base of 7. Where's my audience? You know what I mean? Like, there are people out there like me, just a regular guy like me, talking about stuff. I've watched those channels. And, to be honest with you, I don't watch them anymore. So it's fair enough that people don't watch my content. But I just find it really strange that no one's really watching my content. That's just weird to me. Like, what do I have to do to make you love me? What do I have to do to build an audience? What do you want me to do? Like, what do I got to say? Like, Even what I'm doing right now is no less dramatic than Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and whomever else. You know, you either, like, I don't watch Joe Rogan. I don't watch Theo Vaughn. I don't like their content until it has someone on there that I have an interest in, or maybe even a topic. But I don't watch them religiously. You know, it's kind of like what I'm doing right now with my first season of Star Trek Voyager under my belt. I never watched Star Trek. I was never a Trekkie. And after I became aware, after I woke up, after I became aware that my reality wasn't what I thought it was, those kinds of indications in culture became more and more evident. I would see things in movies and go, oh my God, they're telling us what, like, that's what I believe. And they're making fun of it in the movie, which is a reveal that it's there, it's real, whatever it is. And so now I saw a clip in Star Trek Voyager. Don't lose the train, bro. I saw a clip of a reveal in a Star Trek Voyager, so I'm like, oh, I want to start watching Star Trek, you know, whatever. And I wouldn't watch it right now if there weren't nuggets within. But I have to watch every video because I don't know which video's got the nugget in it. And someone might not have seen the nugget that I see. So I have to watch every single video. I'm invested unless I don't really want to pursue seeing those truth reveals in Star Trek. Anyway, my point is, I just find it really difficult to understand how to grow an audience when there are channels out there that you just come across because they're already in existence. So you don't start with them at the beginning. You're coming to them right then and there. Like someone coming in to hearing me talk right now, you know, you like, what's going to hold you in to listening to the sultry sound of my voice? Like, what is it you want to hear? What is it you want me to talk about? Anyway, I was thinking about earlier, as my dishes are soaking and I started getting busy about the day to just get off my ass. I started to think about talking with my friend Carrie and just being like, just dump on her. You know, because I'm in a place that I haven't changed in per se. Like, it's almost like when you have relationships that just keep failing and failing and failing. You're like, I'm going to give up on relationships. I just can't keep, you know, like all my relationships just failed. Like, well, what's the uniting factor in that situation? It's you. Like, are you learning the lesson to make it so that your relationship's like I just can't get along with anybody at work. And then you switch jobs. I just can't get along with... And you switch jobs, and you switch jobs, and you're like, work sucks, man, because I just can't... Like, there's nobody I get fired or whatever. Like, if you find yourself changing stations and changing situations in your life, and then nothing changes and you're not happy... Like, make the place that you're at right now, this is what I guess I'm talking to myself right now. Make this place the last place I go. Like, I can't, like, I've wanted to change and get better, and I'm not. And by that, I mean, you know, I want to meditate, I want to do yoga, and I want to create. And I'm creating now, but I'm not meditating and I'm not doing yoga. And that has been the case for the past 4 years. Like, this is like, what travel, what would you like to change about? And even changing my diet. You know, travel, what would you like to change about your life? It would be my diet and my exercise, both mentally and physically, you know, whatever. Meditation, yoga, and healthy eating. I want to do that. But I don't do it, so then I don't want it, really. and I'm wanting to get to the want. How do you get to the want? And this goes into the whole psychological aspect of positive thinking or motivational, speaking to yourself motivationally. Like, I would rather just exist. I don't want to reprogram myself. That's a lot of fucking work. It is a lot of work to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. I love you. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. You're awesome. You know, the whole Jack Handy thing back on Saturday Night Live in the 80s, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy, because, I'm a good person and everybody likes me and whatever. You're talking to yourself, but they're making fun of that self-motivation, but they're actually telling you this is what you need to do because you're in a program. You've already been programmed, and the Jack Handy motivational speaking is your rewriting the program. You are deprogramming yourself, brainwashing yourself to then move on to another level of existence. And so I haven't changed in the past, let's say, 3 years. I've done things in increments and in bits and pieces, but I don't keep with it. I just don't. So does that mean that I should just let those things go? I really don't want them and not to have that conflict in my mind? Or does it mean that that is something that I have to, overcome? But then that would mean that I would have to learn how to play the piano, and I would have to learn calculus. It's like, what discipline? Like, I don't want to learn those things. Well, then that means you need to learn them. That's the line of argumentation that I'm going against right now. But I've lost my train of thought completely. Except to say that this is, again, just another attempt. Like, I'm just putting this out there. Like, who's gonna see this? And like, do you know? Right? I mean, like what? I mean, I can't imagine that there's not someone out there that would just love to watch me and just make like a troll. Like, where are they? Like, I don't even have any trolls. Like somebody found me and was like, dude, you're such a fucking loser. I can't believe you're just, yammering along on Radio Free Anarchy and you got the Fonzarelli and Like, where are those guys? Like, I don't even have trolls. That's kind of weird. There's billions of people in the world and I can't build a channel. Whatever that is. You know what I mean? I'm not... I am because we live in this world of capitalistic commercialism. I have to make money. And I'm making money right now, but it's not good money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm poor. And I've placed myself in this experience with the hopes that I've moved to a small town and it is like 4 significant blocks, maybe just 2, really. I think, now that I think of it, I'll just give it 4. 4 significant blocks in the town. Stores, the commerce, I work at Charlie's Market. And I'm getting paid like I'm 15 years old. There's no way I could survive here if I had to pay to survive. There's no way I could survive here. Anyway, so here I am in this place. I have behind me on the kitchen table, the drying rack table, the everything table, the concocciones table. I'm making product that I enjoy. Right? That's where your business model begins, right? Imagine you could get paid doing what you enjoy, right? What is it that you enjoy? You know, one of the things that I remember seeing on, I don't know if it's, you know, like I don't watch TED Talks, but it comes up, you know, like it's like you have a business idea. Where do you get your business idea? Well, you either get it from yourself as an original source, or you get your idea from the populace at large. You know, you might hear a conversation and someone says something that they don't think about the implication of, and you're like, oh my God, that's a business idea. And then you start a business. It's an idea. So my idea is internal, it's self-expressive. I have product that I appreciate and use, and that should be a business model, right? I have mustache wax, I have beard conditioner, I have deodorant, I have food products that that I like. But that's where it all starts. Betty Crocker, Little Debbie. That's where business models begin. What do I produce for myself that I think other people will want as well? They don't know that they have this want until I show it to them. And it very well could be that because I am going, you know, my story about creating the mustache wax is that I wanted to move away from a petroleum-based toxic mustache wax, an all-natural, you know. So then I made that for myself. So then that becomes like the business model of trying to appeal to someone who, you know, he's like, I love my mustache. I love my mustache I love waxing and curling my mustache. But you know what? I really wish there was a natural product out there. And then I know that there are other companies, but I'm just saying, like, that's, you know, the fact that there are other companies shows that there's a broad commercial base that everybody's going to find correspondence with. That's, you know, your audience. Anyway, it's just incredible to me, again, with the stupid things that exist that people have watched. No one's watching my content. That's just like, I'm just as dumb and stupid as those other things. Where's my audience? I don't get it. And so now this is going to go back to what I was thinking earlier in the morning about existence and, like, what's my purpose? Why do I exist? I don't want to exist. Well, I don't know. You know what? I could exist working in the deli meat department, I guess, unless I became more conscientious about the treatment of animals, right? Because I can't be a butcher and be pro-animal. Ultimately, I'm not pro-animal. I'm not. It's like saying, you know, it's your choice to give an abortion, but, you know, if you want to get one, I'll service you. You know what I mean? You can't make that argument. If you're servicing that product, you can't be against that product. There's no way if you're against abortion, there's no way you will perform one, is what I'm saying, right? Lost my train of thought. Talking about existence and meaning and purpose and creation, right? So look, I have been trying to create an existence on YouTube that would support me. Because I believe that there are audiences out there that would appreciate the way that I think. And I know that that's the case. Do you know how I know? Because I have subscribers who've told me as much. Right? That my content is meaningful. Right? My content is meaningful. So it has to find the audience. The only way, now going back to what I'd forgotten to do before, the only way to find that audience is through you. Repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. It is a free way to support any of the content that you watch. Okay? Let's just start at ground zero. You just found my channel. You like listening to the sultry sound of my voice. Have you subscribed? Have you hit the Fonzarelli? Have you hit the like? Right? Have you left a comment? And then have you shared the content? That's how the audience is going to grow. People are not sharing my content. Which then, you know, in my self-accusing dark shadow passenger is, you're just not that interesting, are you, Travel? The reason why you don't have an audience is you're not that. And I just don't believe that, because there's got to be someone dumbed down enough to find me entertaining. I mean, really. You get what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense. It's like I'm so grandiose right now to say that I'm being shadow banned intentionally because they don't want people exposed to me. Call that self-aggrandizement, I suppose, but you know what I mean? Like, there's so much stupid content out there that has allegedly, you know, millions and thousands of subscribers, all that kind of stuff, right? Stupid stuff. Dumbed down stuff. There is a whole spectrum of people in existence, like the dumbest of the dumb and the sharpest of the sharp. And then anywhere in between is just gray. You know, I've got to have some frequency on that spectrum. Don't you think? I would think. So I've got to pursue. I've got to create. I have to create things that don't exist from pre-existent matter, pre-existent content. Nothing is original. Nothing is new under the sun. Everything is an echo of something. It's a like, when does purple, when do red, blue, and purple begin? You know? Anyway, I do have dishes to do. I did want to take the time to do this. This is what it is. You know? I'm just incredulous and dubious at the fact that I cannot fucking get anywhere with YouTube. Like, I had to bust my ass when I first created The Plain Truth. I had to bust my ass to create the numbers that I needed to get the channel to where I could start making content that I thought would be, you know. And the inflation of the numbers of, I guess what I would say, sock accounts, really, they just subscribed to me to support the fact, because we were all content creators, we all wanted to support each other, so we all started subscribing to each other's channels. Guess what I don't do? I don't watch any of their stuff. That's not why I did that. But then that becomes the bane against the numbers in my channel, because I don't know what the real content is except for the people that watch. So then there's 50 people. Like, I have 50 followers. And the content I produce is good content. There's no way I should have 50 people. There's no way. I should have way more than that. You know? Because if I think about myself as a consumer of YouTube, like I watched those channels. One channel in particular I have given money to. I have sacrificed, I mean, and not wisely, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have, but I just love uh, Nick and Lex, and it made me very happy to support him as a content creator. But I know how to support. I share his content. I leave comments. I like his videos. That's why I do that. Nick's always saying, you know, Travis is always the first one in to say, you know, first and make that comment. And that's only if I'm watching YouTube at the time. And so that just shows you that YouTube is my main avenue of media consumption. I'm not on it all the time, but when I'm on it and Nick comes on and it shows up, I jump on there right away. I leave a comment, and I try as often as I can to share the content. Because that's how independent creators are going to find their audience. If you like me and I think like you, and you have friends who think like you, then that might mean that they would find a link to my channel a good thing, because they will like me, because they and you think like I do. See how that works? Now, the only difference between you and me is that I have some kind of ego trip that I've got to do this. And you might not feel that way. That's not where you don't, that's, you know what I mean? But I do think that this is my outlet of creativity to a certain extent. I mean, you just look at the video I produced with this channel, Radio Free Anarchy, on the gospel according to the Matrix. I think that's a pretty good video. You know? It's gone nowhere. And I've put it on 4 different platforms, and it is going nowhere. That's because, in my opinion, they know who I am. I don't know, man. That sounds so fucking egotistical to say, but that's why I wanted to sit down and talk, because I just wanted some stuff to come out. So earlier I started talking about, like, when I first started this video, they were like expressing what's in my head, you know? When you say whatever it is you say, whenever you say it, in whatever context, you know, mom, dad, boss, girlfriend, soccer team, whenever you speak, you are thinking and speaking at the same time. The difference is, when I'm thinking, I'm not saying anything and you have no idea what I'm thinking, which is what I thought in my head just now, except now I just expressed it. So I'm trying to make that division in your psychosis between understanding that I can think to bend my finger right now, but that doesn't mean the finger's going to bend. I have to do something, and I don't even know what it is. Like, what am I going to do right now? Oh, how did I do that? How did I? Where did you come? Are you my new best friend? Red Rum. Like, that little clip right there, I think, is something that you would see on TikTok. You know what I mean? To me, that's entertainment. To me, that was witty. That was interesting. You know, interesting way of putting it. My stomach just rumbled like crazy. But I was talking about the transition between just simply the. No, this. Thoughts and words. As I'm speaking right now, I can't really think about thinking about something else. I'm speaking right now, so I want to think about what I'm speaking. You know, they're like, right? They're in sync. I don't think that I can I don't think that as I'm speaking to you, I could actually have a thought about something like a daydream, like get distracted right now and have a thought, a completely different train of thinking while I'm speaking like that. I don't think, can anybody do that? You know what I mean? Like you're driving to work, and then you start thinking about the office. And you're thinking about the office and you're turning left and you're turning right. And I'm doing that backwards, but whatever. Do you know blinkers, brakes, gas, all that kind of stuff. You're on autopilot. Who is that? So when you're doing a task like I was doing earlier, like trying to get dishes done and this, that, and the other, I started to think about something and went off into a different direction and was busy doing things, but thinking at the same time, like having thoughts about doing a creative video like this right now. But, there's like, there's a line of thinking with people who are spiritually aware that the dark voices that you hear in your head are not you, but other entities that are trying to destroy you by corrupting your thought life, I suppose. I mean, like, what is that that makes you, the thoughts that I've had in the past of self harm were just exasperated. Like, man, fuck this. This is just like, it's like an when if you're holding your breath or if you're drowning, and that that physical fear that you have of dying, that's put that just in an emotional package of what anxiety looks like. It's just pressure on your mind. Like, how do you even express that? Right? How do you, like, if you've never tasted chocolate, could I tell you, could you taste it if I, no, you know? So I have product behind me, I have creativity, but I have no ambition. No ambition. Except to do this. Like, why isn't this working? Like, I'm trying to do this. Well, you could do, you've just got to do all the work. Got to do all the work. But this is what I've been working at for the past 6 years, this content. And I'm telling you that when you watch something that is, well, it's like this, the editing on this is maybe not even going to happen. I have no idea because it's like, 40 minutes. I've got to go back now and watch the entire thing, find out if I want to cut anything. Like, that's a lot of work. And I've done it both ways. I've created content that's highly edited and compact and succinct. Seriously, quality videos. I'll just say quality. And it's going nowhere. So then it's like, how do you then make your dream come true? I've tried. Keep trying. That's crazy. Right? Trying the same thing over and over and over again, expecting to get different results. That's insanity. And yet that's what creative, successful people have done. As I would suppose, because I don't know anybody, who has started from nothing and created a successful business. I don't know anybody like that. You know, I've watched videos on growing your YouTube content and all this kind of stuff. And I've tried to do, certain things. And it's like, how many times am I going to keep trying this? Like, when is it going to, like, and then, so then I want to interview those people, those contents, like Awkward Ashley. I'm like, when did you think you succeeded? Like, when did you know you were a success? Like, you know, I like Awkward Ashley, and I like James versus Cinema for my movie reactions. Oh, and you and me in the movies. And I've tried to set interviews up for my other channel, Red Hen Radio, that I created to interview the content creators that I was consuming because I wanted to support their content that way. And I wanted to gain an audience by being a content creator. You know what I mean? It's no different than me having access to Hollywood and being the people are going to watch interviews about I've got to like update my vernacular, like Timothy Chalamet, right? I can't say like Emilio Estevez anymore, you know. I've got to anyway. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, just talking about success, talking about succeed. Oh yeah, creating, right? Like I'm spending time doing this, but if I wanted to promote my health and beauty products, my mustache wax, my beard conditioner, and deodorant, and then also foodstuffs, like I don't want to do the work to like make that a success. Like that's a lot, because I'm going to have to invest in the materials before I have dividends that pay off. And then I don't have it, and then I have to be the salesman. You know what I mean? Like I don't really want to do that. I wish I didn't have to make my money in a way that made it related to my existence. I don't know if that made any sense, but I was just having a thought about the need for money and just simply existing. Like I get the fact that this is someone else's property, right? That I'm being allowed to benefit from at no charge. So I'm like the low, like I'm 52 years old. I am dirt flat broke, except for the fact that I own a car. That what I mean is I could sell the car and then have that amount of money, but that's it. Like I have nothing, zero. I've got like no thing except for small purchases about existence, that like I've got a stack of records and a record player and a sound bar, and I've got a coffee carafe, and I bought things to make myself happy with utilizing materials. Anyway, what am I talking about? Existence. I can't get back that idea that I was having. That's what I was talking about too. Like I've had those thoughts. I'm like, oh, that's it. I like that thought, and then, like as thoughts do, they just go away, and you're like, what? It's like a Doppler effect. You know what I mean? The build up of the thought from everything that you've experienced in your life, and then you have this thought, and you're like, oh yeah, that's great, and then it just goes, and you're like, no, like you're trying to get back, like you're straining that You know, you're squeezing the kegels, you're raising the kundalini. But here we are at 46 minutes. You know, am I going to go back and edit this right now? Like, why would I do that? Because I want to invest in the success of this channel. I don't have a successful channel. If you build it, they will come. But how big do I have to build it? I've already made 6, 7, 8, 10 videos, and they've gone nowhere. Why are you telling me make another 10, and then you'll go somewhere? How do you know that? You don't even know that. But you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I'm just going to put this out at 47 minutes. You're like, people don't watch you. They got to make it. No, there are plenty of 3, 4. Like, you could push. This is on demand. You don't have to sit and watch the whole thing. Oh my God, you want me to listen to a 5-hour? Yeah, break it into a month, dude. Listen to 1 hour a week, which breaks down into this many minutes a day. You know, like, that's the reality. There's no excuse. Like, I don't have to make a short video. Unless that's the meat of my message. If my message is that short, you'll get a short video. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, again, if you've made it this far, please, for the love of the fonts, if you started at 0 and you're now at 48 minutes, please hit that Fonzarelli. Smash that like, leave a comment, think about someone who's like you, who's like me, and share the content. That's the only way this channel is going to grow. That's the only way. No, Travel, the only way that your channel is going to grow is if you're interesting. Because if you were interesting, your channel would grow. Okay. I think I'm interesting. And I think that there are other people out there who would find this interesting and thought-provoking. How do I know that? Because people that I've spoken to have told me that I'm an intelligent conversationalist who makes them think. Right. All right. I'm going to continue to listen to progressive rock while I mill around and try to produce something of the day on my day off. Honest to God, like, I know that I was trying to wrap this up, right? Honest to God, I am for the first time in a long time complaining about and watching the clock at work. Like, I don't want to have that existence. I do not want to exist. But where does that existence spectrum lie, right? Because I don't even want to go to work. Really, I don't want to go to work at Charlie's. I don't want to do that. I have to do that because I have to have money. I don't want to have money. I want simply to exist. And yet I can't do that in this existence because it already is, the matrix is already here. And the matrix is set up with, again, different spectra. I could be intentionally homeless. I could sell everything that I have right now, you know? Get a third of what I pay for, maybe. A quarter of what I paid for the records and for the cameras, and just sell everything and then go hobo, go vagabond, go homeless. I could do that. I could find a way to exist in that existence. I could. But I don't want to, and I don't actually think I could, because I'm a big pussy. I'm not that guy, you know? We have all of these success stories of, like, so many different people, and, like, people, you know, like, first one that comes to my mind was Gene Hackman. because he lost his father. His dad walked out on him when he was a small boy, and he says, "Later, kid," and he just drives off, and he's gone. Like, that's traumatic. And then we have Gene Hackman. You know, I've got trauma too, bro. You know? And I'm trying to be Gene Hackman. I'm trying to build an audience. Gene Hackman fans. Travel Mateus Finley fans. You know? Like, that's where I want to be, I suppose. But I want it to be, again, like, it's a different product, right? There are so many spiritual channels out there, but there's no one like me. So I could create a brand new, spiritual religious channel, which is perfectly fine on Radio Free. Say whatever the swerve you want. I'm still trying. Like, it's so. Maybe I'll just try to rip on this a little bit real quick about. This is the Christmas season. Right? We are in the Christmas season. And growing up as a kid, I only knew about Christmas and Easter as Christian traditions. Like, I didn't know about the church calendar until I was well into. I don't remember knowing anything about the church calendar really until I was probably 27 in seminary. Orders of worship, right? I grew up in a Baptist church, which would, before then, I don't think, I wonder when the term non-denominational was created. I think probably, I can't remember anything about it names, but I just I'm still a kid. But every church has a tradition. You're like, if you're Baptist, and your order of worship, that is like how your church starts, service starts, announcements. Everybody, we just want to let you know that Mary Jane's in the hospital again. You know what I mean? Like, that's your order of worship. And guess what? If you did that for 10 years and then you took something out and didn't say anything, people would notice. They'd be like, why didn't you, like, what are you doing? That's a tradition. You know what I mean? So I grew up in a tradition that didn't think it had traditions, and then it evolves into a non-denominational. Well, we're not Baptist. We're non-denominational. What does that mean? Labels, like, they only have a shelf, or maybe labels only have an existence based on the reality that they stand for, right? Because, people say, well, I don't like labels. I'm not a Baptist. I'm not a Presbyterian, right? What's the difference between the two? That's the reason why you have two terms, because they're not the same, right? So then when you call yourself non-denominational, you're like, well, do you baptize babies? No. Oh, then you're Baptist. Oh, no, we don't like labels. We're non-denominational. We're non-committal. We're just like, okay, whatever, dude. I have no idea why that came up. Something about the late 90s happening. Something I did and experienced or whatever in the late 90s that made me think about that, and I can't get back to it. So it could be another area where I'm trying to wrap up right now. So if I reeled you in after you thought I was letting you go, right? Because first he jumps, and then he swims. And then he jumps, and then he swims. Right? Luring you in. So if you've made it this far, listening to the soldier sound of my voice, for the love of the Fonzarelli, hit that Fonzarelli, smash that like, leave a comment, and then share it with other intelligent people like you. I I have been your host, Trevor Mattis. Until next time.